Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's masterclass. I'm Siddharth. I'm one of the community managers at Gifted World, and we are very excited to have you all here today for this masterclass. So Gifted World is an online platform that has existed since January of this year. Our goal is to enable students, parents, and teachers to really have an enriched environment, a supportive environment that enables you to reach your full potential. Okay. We are created by a group of different organizations, GenWise, the Northwestern Center for Talent Development, and educational initiatives that have all in their own way been working for gifted and talented children and education for the last more than 20 years. So with that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what's happening today. So at Gifted World, we do free master classes like this. We run some online courses, and we also have blogs where we put up challenges and things like that. All of you have registered on Gifted World, so you know about the platform. And we invite you to join these sessions and engage with them, because the more you engage, the more you learn, and the more we know of the kinds of things you enjoy learning, the more that we can get that to you. Okay. So today I'm especially excited to have a topic quite different from what we normally do. Normally, when you think about gifted education, it's some science thing, some math thing, or like some biology thing in case I'm doing it. And today we have with us Meeta Kabra, who is a chartered accountant and an MBA in finance and entrepreneurship. So Meeta is running a very exciting course on financial literacy for students in grades 7 through 10. That course will be starting next weekend. And it's something that we all think. I mean, I remember when I was in school, I was thinking that, okay, all this financial stuff I will learn later. Then I went to college and I was like, okay, financial stuff I'll learn later. Kept on doing education. I got a job also. It's like financial stuff I learned later. Then finally a bunch of us started a small business and I was like, oh no, I need to learn financial stuff now. Otherwise I'm sunk. So, I think you all have a really great heads up that we have someone like Meeta willing to share her knowledge, and she's a really great teacher and educator also. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Meeta. But first, I see Lokaditya's hand is up. Do you have a particular question?
The financial course is from grade 7 to 10, right?
No, for grades 7 to 10, not age 7 to 10.
Okay.
But
I wanted to join the course.
yeah, but it's okay. You can join. Like that's the target audience. But
I'm
in
still
general,
I'm in grade 5.
sure. So Lokaditya, why don't you see how today's session goes,
Yes,
and then
sir.
you can take a decision about it. Great. Thank you so much. So, well, over to Meeta. Now, since we're about 16 students over here, I request that you please keep your mic on mute and raise your hand when you want to ask a question. And then I will call myself, or Meeta will call on you to answer that to ask, and then we can answer that question. Also, feel free to put your questions in the chat if you really want to ask it, and I will convey them to Meeta during her presentation. Okay. Thank you so much. Over to you, Meeta.
Hello, everybody. Siddharth, aren't you supposed to ask a couple of polls?
Yes. Thank you for that, Meeta. So I will just fire up a quick poll that will capture your information so that we can send you a follow-up email about today's session. Where is the polls? Polls. No. There.
Meanwhile, Lokadatya, you can turn the raised hand off.
Right. So there's a quick poll that's asking you your age, where you're joining this call from, and your email ID. So that specifically, if there are any resources specific to this session that Meeta wants to share with you, we have your email ID to reach out to you. Please do fill it up. Meeta, you're able to see the results of the poll as it comes through, right?
Yes, yes. Where are you joining this call from?
Yeah, that one doesn't show because it's a text thing.
Okay. Can you just type me the summary later?
Yes, I'll do that.
Waiting to hear from four more people.
Well, 2 of those 4 people might be us.
No,
No,
18, no?
It is still 18?
Yeah. So we are 18.
Yeah, we're 18, correct, and 2 hosts. 4 more people, come on, come on. Nice, this has worked. I think we'll just go with the
All right.
responses from the 12 for now.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for responding. We'll be in touch. So most of the half of you are 12 years old, and then another 3 above and 3 below. So in case you want to send me your email address, you can send it personally in the chat to me so that I can respond to you later. Thank you.
All right. Let's get started. So just a few things before I start. I start out with my weakness. I know people say you shouldn't start out with your weakness, but I do, which is that I tend to speak fast. So if anybody is thinking, anybody feels that I'm going too fast, talking too fast, please raise your hand immediately and Siddharth will warn me that I'm going fast. All right. You can unmute yourself, Siddharth, at that point and let me know that there is that particular comment. All right. So now, today we are here to talk about something specific, which is part of a very huge topic, right? Money, how we think about money. That's an extremely huge topic. It is, and it is complicated. But we are going to touch just one particular aspect of it today, which is how do we make payments? Okay. Now, some of you might have ideas on how we make payments. Some of you might have read it on this slide. So what do you think? How do we make payments? You can type it in the chat or you can raise your hand, unmute and answer for now. Cash or card? Yeah. Right. Okay. So, right. Cash. And then there is this thing called a bank. So you might have heard of it. So we run our money through a bank. And of course, there are cards. And then there are some newer methods that have come about and they will keep coming as you grow older too. And we will touch upon a couple of them. And I don't intend to go too much into detail about those. Do know that this by itself, this topic is very huge. Even the small part in the bigger money part is very huge and very complicated. Today, we are going to go through only the basics and it is just a tip so that you have some basic knowledge of everything that is related to how we make payments. Okay. So with that, we first start with cash. Now you tell me, These are dirhams, these are rupees. Everybody know what these are for? Please raise your hands. Siddharth, let me know when about 10 have raised their hands.
So far, we're only at 1. 2.
Okay. Anybody knows what these are for?
Does everyone know what? So we're at 7 raised hands so far.
All right. So some people don't know what these are for. Good, good. You need this class then. All right. All right. How many of you know how they are used? How is this thing used? How is this piece of paper used?
You can raise your hand again.
Raise your hand again. How are they used?
Again, we're at 4 raised hands, 5.
All right. Okay.
So 6 people have raised
6
hands.
people. All right. Okay. So I'm assuming at least a couple of them are having trouble raising the electronic hand because, right?
Yeah.
Is that a safe assumption?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way, just in case there are people who don't know how to use, don't know what this is and how to use it, I'll just go through it briefly. All right. This is money. This is cash. They are also in the form of coins, right? If you want to buy something, a toy, a video game, clothes, you have to go to a shop and you give this to the shopkeeper and they give you that thing, and that is called buying something, right? And this is called using cash to make that payment, right? So that is how it is used. Okay, everybody clear with that? Anybody with a question?
So there's a question that has come saying, why did we stop using trading objects in how and stuff instead moved to using cash?
Okay, this is specifically not a course on history of money. This is, I know that is there in your textbooks. If it is not there so far, it will come in your textbook at some point. So that is not something specifically I am avoiding talking about, how we went from trading to cash. I can, of course, in short say that, it was heavier, how many grains, how many bags of grain you're going to carry, and how are you going to exchange it with clothes, and who decides how many clothes for how much grain. So these complications are there with trading, and therefore slowly we evolved into this. But more detail than that, I think you have there's a lot of literature on the net. You can go and find out yourself. Okay. So this is specifically not for that. This is just to tell you that this is something that we use, and this has started being replaced. Now we don't even use this. So that is what we are here to talk about, right? So otherwise, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so the thing about cash is, it is, why has it replaced trading? Because it is universally accepted. If I go and give this money to a shopkeeper in Dubai, because it is Dubai currency and or UAE currency, and present it to them, they will give me whatever I want to buy as long as I have enough of this money with me, right? So and same goes for the Indian rupee, and some currencies, let's say something like dollars, it's used even outside the country a lot. It is universally accepted. Okay. The other good thing about cash is that you cannot spend if you don't have any. So it controls you from spending what you don't have. All right. And we'll talk about why that is a dangerous thing a lot in the larger course on financial literacy. And we'll cover a bit about it even today, why it is so important that we should not spend cash that we don't have. The third thing that is very good about this thing is, I have it with me. I don't have to log into some account. I don't have to open any app. And I know how much I have. I can count how much I have. It is physically solid with me. But you know what the problem with cash is? That it is solid and in hand. Because it is solid and in hand, in my hand, it can get robbed from me, right? somebody can come and pick my wallet, and I've lost it. There is nobody I can complain to. Or I might try complaining, but I've lost the money temporarily at least, right? Then if I want to say buy a car, how many of these am I going to carry? If I want to buy a fancy house, how many of these am I going to carry? So it's very inconvenient, right? It's extremely inconvenient, and it is risky because it can be robbed of you, right? And you have to be physically present to make the transaction. You can't buy online with cash. Can you buy things online with cash? You cannot do that, right? So you have to be physically present. That's a disadvantage of having cash. Okay, so that's a short introduction to cash. That's all you need to know about that for now. Yeah. So we move on to the next one, a bank, right? Now you tell me, how does money work in a bank now? Now I have this money, and then what happens? I mean, what do you think happens? Can anybody tell me what is a bank? Just in a couple of words, just tell me, type over there, what is a bank?
Yeah. Or you can raise your hand and briefly.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
You can raise your hand, yeah.
Go ahead, Khadija.
Bank is a place where you can trade money to other countries, or just keep your money safe in the bank, like loaning.
Right. Keep money for loaning. Okay. Very interesting. Yes.
Rohan?
Yes, sir. So I would like to add a point. So let's say we pay somebody in a check. So what they have to do is give the check to the bank, and the bank will give them the money.
Right.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good enough stock of answers for me now. So think of bank as a company. Okay. A company runs a business, and the bank's business is to take money of many people, keep it with them, and when they need it, give it back to them. Okay. This is so that the money doesn't get robbed from their houses. First main reason. Okay. So this is the basic function of a bank. Then when you say giving loan, and a check is a mode of payment, so of course we will talk about that. But giving a loan, that is a different function of the bank. All right. The main purpose as a customer, as a person, as Janelia or Arahan or Rohan, the main purpose of a bank is that it keeps your money safely. Okay. And keeps it from being robbed. Okay. And because it that business, any country's government takes a lot of effort to protect the money in the bank. Not any company can become a bank. It takes a lot of rules and regulations to be followed by that company to be a bank, right? So that's why it is a safe place for us to keep our money. Now, let us see how do things work in a bank, right? Okay, 1 second. So you have a bank account, right? You go and give this money into the bank. So there is some balance in that bank. That's what it's called, account balance. Then when you want to make a payment, you give an instruction to the bank, right? That who you want to give the money to, how much you want to give, which date you want to give it on. All these instructions you give the bank. Then the bank makes a payment. Okay, the bank on your behalf, it takes your money and gives to that person. That person gets money in their bank account, or maybe as cash also. It all depends. All right. And your account, the money reduces. Makes sense? Makes sense, right? You can even give me a human thumbs up for those of you who have your videos on. Yeah. Right. So this part, this there you go. Instruct bank. How do you instruct bank? That is mainly what we are here to talk about. What are the modes in which you can give money to whoever you have to give money to? All right. So we are going to talk a little bit about that now. So for that first, then we have to first know how do you create an account? How? We just know how to make the payment. Now let us see how do we create a bank account. Okay. So you go to the bank, and you tell the person sitting there that I want to open an account with you. They say, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Of course, I want to open an account. Of course, you are welcome here. And they will ask you to fill a form, give some form of ID, give your photo and things like that. They'll have a list of documents. And then they will ask you for an initial deposit. They will say, you have to first, to open the account, you have to open an account with some money. It could be 100 dirhams or 100 rupees or whatever, right? It could be 10,000 dirhams or 10,000 rupees, depends on the bank completely. Then after that, they will add one more thing. You know what? You cannot withdraw how much ever you want. You have to keep a minimum deposit. So you have to keep 10,000 minimum or 100 minimum, whatever. Again, depends on the bank, right? Then they will say, you know what? When you go to withdraw, they'll say there are some limitations. You can't withdraw more than 3 times a month. Depends on the type of bank. Okay. You cannot withdraw more than 4 times in a day. Or you will have to go and change some setting somewhere for us to allow you to make more withdrawals in a day or something like that. Okay. These are all ways of them to protect us also as account holders, but they are also a way of for them to run their business so that not too many people can come and ask for money at once. Okay. Because if too many people go and ask for money at once, then they have to give so many people money, which they might or might not have. And that is again something we talk about in the bigger course, why they will not have the money that you have given them already. Okay. So that is a different topic to get altogether. Now, they might have a limitation on, well, like the minimum deposit is also a withdrawal limitation, right? Because they're restricting the amount that you can give to a certain level. Beyond that, you cannot give, even though you have a balance, right? Then when you keep your money, suppose Manvik, suppose I give you money, okay? Or let's say you are giving me money, okay? You give me money and you ask me to keep it with me. Will you be okay if I don't give you anything in return? You are giving me money, your money to keep. Will you be okay if I don't give you anything in return? No, right? He will want something from me, right? And that something I am willing to give him to him because I am having that money which I can do many things with, right? And that something is called interest. All right. So that what I give is some, every year I will give you so much money. That is called interest. And again, another topic we will talk about in detail in the
Right now you're covering towards the topic of loans right now.
Loans not yet, but you are right that the banks use the money that we deposit. Say 4 of us have deposited money in a bank. They use that money to give loans to other people. There are many rules and regulations around that, but they use that money to give loans to people. Now those people, they charge an interest rate at 12%, but to us they will give an interest rate of 10%. That is how they earn money. That's how their businesses run. But let us stick to the topic at hand. Otherwise, there is, like I said, it's a huge topic, so we can go haywire very, very quickly. Okay. So yes, so interest rate is the interest that they are giving us because we have kept the money with them. Okay. But because we have money with them and they have to maintain certain things and they have to follow rules and regulations and they have to have managers and all that, they will charge us something called bank charges. All right. And this is all connected to each other. So if you go to a bank and you ask for terms and conditions, what are your bank, what is your initial deposit, what is your minimum deposit, what is your withdrawal limit? Now suppose the interest rate, they say we'll give you 15%. Other banks are giving only 10%. We will give you 15%. There has to be a catch, right? Because why will they give you so much? The catch lies in one of these things, which is the withdrawal limitation will be very high. They will say you have to keep a minimum deposit of at least 5 lakh, 500,000 dirhams or something like that. Or they will keep a limitation like you cannot touch your money for 3 years. Only after 3 years you can withdraw money. So if the interest rate is high, something else will have to compensate for that. If the minimum deposit is 0, if they don't want you to have a minimum deposit, then the interest rate that they give will be very, very low. Okay, so this is how it interplays with each other. All right. Any questions so far? No? All good?
No, ma'am.
No, on the chat, it's fine.
All right. Okay. So then now we come to how do we actually make these payments? This is an important thing to know, even if it is not a part of your modes of payments, because you should know that you have to read the terms and conditions properly. You have to ask the right questions to the manager when you are going to open an account. All right. Now, how do we make a payment? So one of you mentioned we send a check, right? Through the bank account, through your bank account, there are many ways in which you can make payment. One of them is check. Okay. And what does a check? A check looks like this. Okay. What is this? So what you have to put in your date. So this is a check. You put in the date. You write who you want to pay. You write the amount, how much you want to pay. And then you have to write it in words. So paying somebody who, whatever name you're writing here, the spelling has to be correct. Otherwise, the transaction gets rejected. It says, no, the payee name is wrong. So we cannot give the money to this person. Okay. Then you have to write the amount in number and then you have to sign it here. And this is somewhere where I am a total fail. The number of times my bank manager calls me and tells me, ma'am, your signature is not matching. So when you have filled that bank form, right, when you're opening an account, you have to sign it. And every time you sign a check, that sign has to match so that they know that you are the person who are saying, okay, pay this, right? So that you have to be very careful about that. Your signs have to match. Okay, so what happens when you go to you write this check? They give you a checkbook when you open a bank account. You write this check and you give it to the person who you want to pay. So suppose I have to pay Tanay something. I have bought something from Tanay and I have to pay him something. I give him the check. He gives me that thing. Suppose this bottle, okay, I bought from him. Now that check, he has to go and give it to his bank and say, deposit this check in my account. Okay. And then that bank, his bank, goes to my bank and says, okay, give me money because your bank account holder bought something from me, from my bank account holder. So then my bank sees the check, says, okay, signature matches. Okay, this is correct. Okay, this is correct. Okay, fine, I'll transfer, and then transfers the money. All right. So obviously it takes time to reach the account. It doesn't reach immediately. It takes time from when I have written the check. I got the bottle already, but from when I have written the check to when it actually reaches the Tanay's account, it takes a couple of days sometimes. All right. And somebody has a question?
Rohan has his hand up.
Yes, sir. So usually if you go to some shops or something, in some places they're like, checks as a payment is not accepted. So, given that cards, every big and small shop cannot have the credit card machine and cash can be robbed. This is like, according to me, the best way you can pay. So then why don't they accept it? I mean, isn't this like easy to do as well and carry? And no, even if they rob the check from you, they can't get it because the name can't be right.
Correct. So, have you seen my presentation, Rohan, already? Because this is the next topic I was going to talk about. That why don't we use checks anymore? Because of that 2-day delay, right? What happens is some people, fraudsters, some people, they give a check. They don't have any balance in their account. They give the check. And when that presenter goes to when one bank account asks one bank asks the other bank, okay, pay money, my bank account holder wants it. Tanay wants the money. He says, Meeta has no balance. Meeta has made a fool out of you, out of Tanay. All right. So that is one of the reasons why this doesn't happen. Second is it takes time for the money to reach, right? So that people don't want, because otherwise instantly with other modes that we are going to talk about today, instantly the money reaches their account. So that's why checks are going out of fashion. Okay. So that's the reason. And as far as protection is concerned, the other methods are also protected. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. So then the other way that we are going to talk about is, money can be transferred online. You don't have to give a physical check. If you have a bank account, you can log in to there are many ways, in fact, actually, where you can transfer money from your bank to Tanay's bank, let's say. Okay. So one of the methods is called net banking. What does that mean? You log into the website of the bank, and it takes you to your account, and then over there you add a payee that I have bought this bottle from Tanay, and I will go open log into my bank's website, and I will say I want to pay Tanay. Tanay's account number is so and so. Tanay's bank name is so and so. Tanay's bank location is so and so. And this is how much I want to transfer to him. And it goes directly to his account. Nowadays, earlier it used to take time. Nowadays, it happens instantly across countries. Okay. So,
Ma'am, what is net banking?
So that is exactly what net banking is, where you pay online. You log into your bank account and you make the payment. That is called net banking. It is called wire transfer also sometimes. Okay. So that is what net banking is. The act of logging into the website and paying it through your bank, through the website, is called net banking. Or even I think the bank's phone app. If you're paying it through the app, it is net banking. All right. The other way, which is more popular in India, and it is gaining popularity across the world, is called UPI. So UPI is full for Uniform Payment Instructions. So that is a system setup. You think of it as an app that you can download, and it connects to your bank account, and you can just say pay to this phone number. You don't have to sit and input the bank account number of the other person. So suppose I have bought something from Mohammed. I don't need to sit and type his account number, his bank name, and all that. I just say whatever he gives me the information of, which it could be a QR code, it could be a phone number, it could be an ID, and I just say pay to this ID, and done. It happens immediately. So that is what UPI is. There is another thing called wallets. So wallets, what you do is you transfer money from your bank account to that wallet. How many people here buy from Amazon? Hands up. Raise your hands. इसके लिए फट फट फट. That was quick.
We're at
Right?
10 hands raised.
10 hands ready, right? So 10. So yeah, so Amazon also has a thing called Amazon Pay, right? So that's a kind of a wallet. So instead of a wallet being in your pocket, the wallet is in with Amazon, and you can put in money there, and that money you can use to buy things in Amazon, from Amazon, or some people also accept Amazon's wallet for payment instead of a bank account. So that also works. Okay. Now you remember I told you the country's government is very strict about who it allows to keep other people's money and all that. So Amazon, that's why, is not allowed to keep, at least in India, it's not allowed to keep more than 10,000 of your money. More than 10,000 rupees, you're not allowed to keep in the wallet. Okay, so this is, but you can use that 10,000 rupees to make even your electricity payment, or pay somebody else also. You can use it, whoever accepts Amazon Pay. Okay, so that is what a wallet is. So there might be cab companies which have their own wallet. So the cab company, they will say, you put, say, let's say Uber, right? Uber, or Uber, whatever you call it. It has a Uber wallet. and you can put money in that and use it only in Uber. You can't use it anywhere else, right? So that is a wallet. But see, ultimately it's going from your bank account to that account. So that's why it is through the bank only, is how I think about it. Okay. Then we have debit card. Everybody has heard of a debit card? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
I think of debit card as a card which directly subtracts from your account, while
Correct.
a credit card stores the money from your account in that.
Correct. A credit card stores your money.
Like what you say, the credit card is linked to your account. It directly gives the money from there. But your debit card just gives the ID and everything, and it directly subtracts, while the credit card is giving the exact amount of money.
Okay, okay. We will talk about this in just a bit. Okay, there is some clarification that I need to give on these points. We will talk about it, and then you tell me after we are done with that, you let me know whether whether it matches what you think. Okay. Yes. More questions? We'll
No,
just
these
take
are
a couple
these
more.
are three hands raised for whether have you heard of debit card?
Oh, okay, okay, all right, fine. So debit card, it looks like this. This is my debit card. Okay, this is my debit card, and there is this other thing that I'm holding, which is a credit card. Okay, you know what the problem is? A credit card looks like this, and debit card also looks same. Another place where I have been, learned the hard way, that you should be careful about the difference between the two. You know what I did? I went to an ATM machine and I wanted to withdraw money. Okay, I wanted to withdraw cash from there. What did I do? Without looking, I have this wallet. Without looking, I was in a rush. I just picked it up and I swiped it. Okay, and I got cash. And then it gave me a message. After getting the cash, I got a message saying you have been charged a fee. You have been charged a fee. Why? Because I used a credit card instead of my debit card. Because credit card, when you withdraw cash from there, then you get charged a fee. Debit card, it is free. Fee and free. Okay. Debit card is free, withdrawing cash. And credit card, they have a fee. Some credit cards have a fee. All right. So let's see how a debit card works first. Okay. Oh, just a second. I'll just stop this presentation and come back in just a bit. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Manvik, is your hand up for a question?
Yes, sir. No, it's not for a question. I just wanted to say something about credit cards and debit cards.
Okay, maybe we'll just wait for Meeta ma'am to finish the section about the credit card.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Great. Or while we're waiting for her to come, you could share your point.
Yes. So, my knowledge about debit cards and credit cards. Like the difference between credit cards and debit cards. So the debit card, when you withdraw money from that, you're taking your own money from your own account. But if you use a credit card, you're technically withdrawing the bank's money, but have to pay it back like every month. You have the credit card bills. So you can choose whether to use a credit card or debit card, but if you can pay your credit card bills regularly, it would be better to use a credit card, as your credit score will also increase, and uh, you will not have to take money out of your account if you can pay the bills early.
Oh my God, so much we know. So there are some things that I think need a little clarity over there, and we will come to that. Okay. So let's see how do debit cards work? You go to a shop, and now this time I want to buy a book from Akshu. Okay. So I tell Akshu, please take my debit card, and they swipe it or they tap it and they take money and that money directly, like one of you said, it directly gets deducted from my bank account and directly goes into their bank account. Okay, it will go into Akshu's bank account. So right there, the whole transaction happens. So what is the advantage of this system? That, it is very, very convenient, because, right there it happens. You don't have to carry cash, etc., etc. It's safer than cash. There's no, if somebody takes your debit card, they can't just go and swipe it. They have to enter the PIN and all that. So they can't just, generally use it. And again, you can't spend if you don't have money in the bank account. If you try to swipe this and you don't have balance in the bank account, it gets rejected. It says, no, you can't make this payment. And therefore, you don't have to pay any interest, which you might have to do when you are making a credit card payment, which I'll tell you about soon. Okay. But on the other hand, it is a little riskier compared to credit cards, because if by any chance you pay online, for example, with your debit card, and so the money immediately gets deducted from your bank account and it goes to their bank account, and suppose they don't send you that thing, then there is very little recourse. You can't really it's very difficult to prove that they didn't send it to you, etc., etc. It becomes you versus them kind of a thing. So there is a potential for misuse and fraud, and you're not offered any protection, whereas this protection somewhat to some degree is given in a credit card. Okay, so
Ma'am, I
now,
have one doubt.
yes, tell me.
Ma'am, why they charge money in credit card, not debit card?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
The fee that
Why
you mentioned
they
for
charge
withdrawing
money in credit card, not debit card?
Can you hold that thought? I will come to you. Yeah, I'll come back to you. Siddharth, just remind me if I haven't answered that question in the end. Okay.
Sure.
Just hold that thought. I will come to you. I'll tell you why they charge it. Okay. Now, let's see at how credit card works, and then that will lead into answering your question. Okay. How does it work? So let's say today is 4th September and I go and buy a phone. Suppose, okay, you go and buy a video game. Fine. For, let's say, Dharam 1,000 or rupees 1,000, whatever, right, at a store. What will they do? They will take your credit card and they will either swipe it or tap it, and the credit card company. So there is this credit card company called Visa or Mastercard or American Express. That credit card company will pay the store. So suppose I bought something from Akshita, and or let's say this phone I bought from Akshita, I have to pay them 1,000 dirham. I swipe my card there, and then as soon as I swipe my card, this company Visa that is written here, that company pays Akshita. Okay. And then there is a due date. On that due date, that I pay the credit card company. So that is how the system works. So just to clarify, this has nothing to do with my bank account. Okay. Now the credit card company, when it gives me the credit card, it might want me to have a bank account and might want me to have certain amount of money in my bank account, and it will look at all kinds of things, whether I'm financially reliable enough, and we'll talk about that in a bit, to pay them back. But the money is not directly going from your bank account unless you go and tell the bank, okay, pay my credit card bill. All right. So I can do one transaction on 4th September. I can do one transaction on 14th September, one transaction on 5th October. Till my due date comes, I can keep buying things, and I can pay on the due date. Okay. So let us talk about this due date for a bit. Okay. Now suppose 4th September, I bought this thing from Akshita, and now I have to pay the next thing I bought from Arahan on 14th September, and another thing I bought from Muhammad on 16th of September, and my due date is every 15th of the month. Okay. So the thing that I bought today and the thing that I bought on 14th, I have to pay for it on the 15th. But the thing that I bought on 16th, I have to pay next month 15th. Does that make sense? Anybody have a confusion with this? All good? Yeah. So got it? So on the due date, I have to pay all the transaction, all the things that I have bought. Those things I have to pay before, only those things I have to pay on the due date. After that due date, then I have to pay only next month. Okay. So in a sense, I am getting a loan from this credit card company, right? I didn't have that money to pay for at that time, but I got a loan from this company, a temporary loan, which I have to make sure I pay. If I don't pay on this minimum, on this due date, what happens? Do you know what happens if I don't pay on this due date?
They like cancel your loans from like any bank.
Extra charges.
Sorry?
Extra charges will be given.
They will charge you extra. They will charge you a late fee. They will charge you an interest. You know, we will talk about interest. Interest is a really intense and very nice topic that I have left for another time. But they will charge you this interest, which usually, you know, I said 10%, 12%. You get a loan at 12%, but the bank gives you 10%. If you do not pay the credit card bill on time, they charge 36%. 36 is minimum, 30 to 48%, depending on the credit card. That's crazy, right? For every 100 rupees or 100 dirhams that you have spent, you have to give them 36 more because you didn't pay that on the card on bill. Another tricky thing is this thing called minimum amount. Okay, what they will say, okay, you bought this thing for 1,000 dirhams, this thing for 50 dirhams, this thing for 100 dirhams. So your total that you have to pay the credit card company is 1,150 dirhams on this 15th September. Okay, and then they will say, but you know what, you don't need to pay the whole thing. Even if you pay 150 dirhams, it's fine. Okay, but that 150 dirhams is not for free. They will keep, that facility is not for free. They will take that 150 and on the remaining 1,000 dirhams, which you still have to pay, they will charge you interest at that same rate. Okay, so that, yeah, I know. So, and there is, other than these two things, there is this other thing that is very important, why you need to pay on time, and that is your, somebody mentioned it earlier, credit score. Okay, so credit score, what is, let me just tell you what a credit score is. A credit score is one company giving you a score which tells other people how reliable you will be in paying them whatever you need to pay. So for example, I go and try to rent a house. In some countries, this happens. I go and try to rent a house. So my landlord can go and check my credit score to make sure that I am capable of paying that rent on time. Similarly, people who give loans, loan for a car, loan for a house, a personal loan, an education loan, all these type of loans, the people that give them, you're going to pay them back slowly, right? If you take a huge loan, if you take 10,000 rupee loan, you're going to pay back slowly, maybe 500 rupees every month for a certain number of months. So they have to know that you will be able to do that, right? So the funny thing about loans is that you get, to get a loan, you need to have money. Do you understand the irony there? That to get a loan, I need money. I have to be able to show that I will be able to pay this, right? So money in the sense that you have to show that I'm earning so much. So by the time it is time for me to pay, I will pay you back. I'll get money, so I'll pay you back, etc., etc. So that is why the credit score is very important. And in this credit score, they have many parameters, right? What is your salary? How many loans do you already have? How many credit cards do you have? How frequently and how regularly do you pay your credit card bill on time? That is on the due date. How many times have you gone past the due date? Or how many times have you paid only the minimum amount? How many times have you not cleared your credit card bill? That all adds up to your credit card score. In the UAE, this credit score is called Al Etihad Credit Bureau. That is one of the companies that gives you a score. In India, it is called CIBIL, right? So there are many companies can give you a credit score, but the landlord or the person giving you the loan will decide which score they want to use. But your credit score drops if you do not pay your credit card bill on time. So it's very important to know. So those are, the things that are scary about a credit card. Let's get to something more light and fun. Okay. There are reward points and benefits attached to a credit card. Okay. Now, what are these reward points? How do they work? So they are called reward points or miles, etc. Okay. So let us first talk about reward points, miles, and then I'll talk about benefits. Okay. So the way it works is every time you make a purchase on your credit card, let's say you purchased something for 100 dirhams, and you will get 10 points. Okay. And those 10 points, they will convert to 1 dirham. So you got this 1 dirham for free. And you can buy things with the reward points, with the 10 points, which is actually 1 dirham. They call it so many points, but it's actually, it converts to fewer dirhams or rupees. But you can buy things with these reward points. Now, what can you buy? Totally depends on the credit card company. Okay. The credit card company, in fact, in UAE, I have heard that they offer many reward points. And it's like a huge space of reward points. Like, they are always competing. I'll give you so many reward points. I will let you buy so many things, etc., etc. So this is something that you have to be aware of. You should look up all these things. Okay. You should look up reward points. Let me just finish benefits and then I'll talk to, we'll see what Rohan has to ask. Okay. The other thing, so the benefits is what you might have heard of: airport lounge access. So you show your credit card and you get access to these lounges. Why is the lounge important? You get free food there. You get a place to sit and chill. You get a place.
Food, rest. You get bed.
You get bed. You get a shower when you're traveling long. Sorry.
You can get food also.
You can get food also.
You'll get free Wi-Fi there.
You get free Wi-Fi. You get a charging point. You get to sleep there. Right? So it's a more comfortable place than regular airport, some people think. Okay. So, that is one type of benefit. So the important thing is to read all these terms and conditions properly. What reward points you're getting, how many reward points for every 100 that you spend, what is the interest rate, all these things you have to be aware of. Yes, questions?
So Rohan had a question from earlier. Rohan, was that addressed?
Yes, sir. So, my doubt is, so Meeta ma'am, you said that somebody has to have money in order to have a loan so that they can pay it. But the thing is that if you know Anil Ambani, they take so much loan and then they declare themselves bankrupt. So aren't they basically like cheating the system?
My God. This one I wasn't ready for. Okay. So, Anil Ambani hasn't declared himself bankrupt. I don't think so. But there are other people. I don't know about this particular case in detail, as much detail. See, because this is a very nuanced discussion. Okay. I can't go about saying that he is some person is defrauding an entire country or, and their banks. I can't make those comments without having really deep and correct knowledge. So I will not go into the specific case of Anil Ambani or any person in particular. But I can say this: yes, people take loans and they are not able to pay them back, and that happens. That is and the banks account for that in their business. They say, yes, this is the loss we will have to bear. It happens. And yes.
Ma'am, if someone takes if someone take loans, if they doesn't return it back, then what will happen?
So if they don't return it back, what happens? The bank will send somebody to your house, boss, pay me. What the bank also does is says, I will give you a loan only if you give me your house papers. You have to keep your house. I think, yeah. Only if you give me your house papers to keep with me, only then will I give you a loan. So if you do not pay me, I will sell your house and take my money. So that is one way in which it gets treated. The other way, then of course, then they declare bankruptcy. If you can't, even if your house is not enough to pay back that loan, then of course, then you have to declare bankruptcy, and then your credit score suffers, and then you get into a whole load of complications. Yeah. Other questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, sorry,
Tanay
the question from Tanay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So you mentioned that if you do not pay like credit card bills on fixed dates, like the interest that you pay increases gradually. So does it, as in like if the interest is like 2% when you didn't pay your bill when you didn't pay your bills, and then they increased it to like suppose like as you said 36%, so will it keep increasing every time you don't pay your bills, or does it stay? Or
So I'm sorry, I did not say it keeps increasing. I said the bank, when it gives you a loan, they will charge a lower rate compared to a credit card company. So a credit card company will tell you upfront that the first rupee that you do not pay on time, I am going to charge 36%, 30%, 48% also some people. And they don't quote it as 36%. Let me tell you this. They quote it as 3% per month or 2% per month. So it adds up to 24% a year. So they try to, so when you're reading the terms and conditions, you might not even notice it. So you have to be careful when you do these things. Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why
Arahan,
do
would you like?
they use all these techniques to threaten the people into paying?
Yes, they are. But they are also giving you a loan, no? They are also helping you when you don't have money to pay. You're there, or we'll talk about the other advantages of credit cards. They are giving you those advantages, no? That's why that's their business. That's their business. Yeah. Yes, Manvik.
Ma'am, so there's this one thing that a person can do. So like when we take loans, we take the normal loan amount, the this a loan amount, and then we have to pay interest on that. Depends on
Correct.
how much interest is there, how much percentage interest. So we can take a loan with a very long tenure, and we can just invest that in something else, suppose some kind of fund or something. Then at the end we will most likely have more money than original. Then we will have a profit in this case even after paying back the loan.
Manvik, you have touched what I'm going to touch in third session of my financial literacy course. So this question is a long one to answer, whether you should do that or not, why you should do it, who should do it. All these things I address in that part of this thing. It is not a discussion for this this mode of payment session that we are doing today. Okay, but brilliant question, Manvik. Thank you.
Well, technically we shouldn't do it because the investment can also fail, so we might also have a loss.
Correct. But you have to understand a lot many things before reaching that conclusion. You might have already read up, so you know, but not everybody has, right? Okay. Mohammed? The people who have answered the question, please take off your raised hand so that I know. Yes, Mohammed.
Ma'am, if we buy a credit card, why do they give us points or money?
So see, that is because that is their business, right? They're giving you points to lure you in, to get you to take that credit card and spend on that credit card. That is one way of.
So we can spend that points in both credit and debit card?
No, those points you can spend only in a list of things that they will give you. When you get your credit card or when you apply for one, you should ask, what all will I get? What will get covered in this? So there will be some restaurants that will be covered. You can use your reward points there. There will be some apps where it will be covered. You can use your points there. But not all your expenses will be covered there. Only some will be covered where it is applicable, where the shops that are eligible. Yes, Genelia.
Ma'am, banks does lending practices at certain times, right? So how do they assess and manage it, like at credit risk?
How do they assess and manage credit risk? So one of the things is the credit score. Then they go and see how many assets you have, that the papers you can give them, that the houses you own, the what the jewelry you own that can be sold in case you don't pay the loan back. They will sell those things to get the money back, right? So they will make a list of those things. That is how they assess their credit risk. They generally see the job you are doing, how much money you are making on that job. These are the things. These are just a few things. They have a whole list of things they look at to manage their credit risk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Rohan, I think, is left. I think I've answered all other questions.
Yeah, there's also a question from Heman
Ma'am,
in
I
the
also have
chat.
one more.
Ma'am, I
Okay.
had another one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, then if they do this 36% law and the ones you just recently explained, then aren't they, like less likely to have customers? I mean, yes, you can argue that people don't have any other place to keep their money and all, but if the bank does all this, then won't people, be a bit doubtful that should I do it or not?
So that's where competition comes in. Like if one bank doesn't do it, the other bank will offer a lower rate. That's how the credit card companies have also settled at this range of 36 to 48%, right? So different credit card companies, they offer you different facilities, and accordingly, if the percentage is low, something else will be high. Some charges, some fees will be high, etc. So they balance it out like that. Yeah. And if you are not going to go to one credit card company because some other credit card company is offering better features, then this credit card company will go out of business, no? So that's how the game works, because of the competition in the market. Okay. At this point, I think I have given everybody a chance. I'll move on to the rest
I
of the.
also have doubt. I
Okay,
also have
last. Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am, they will use the score points for luring you in, but don't they also get some loss by giving you those points?
So ultimately the loss that the loss that they are making is less than the profit that they are making, or the money that they are making. What they have to pay you in reward points. So how do they pay their reward points? So suppose they say reward points, you can go, if you go to this restaurant, you can pay the food bill through our reward points. Okay. That's what they're saying. You go to a restaurant and you pay by this credit card, and the restaurant gives you some discount. Okay. Or it says, okay, you have to give me only this much money. The rest is covered by your reward points. Okay. That's what they say. But the credit card company will have a tie up with the restaurant. The restaurant must be giving them some money so that they can people come to them. So there's a whole network of things happening, network of businesses at work to give you this facility. So some loss the restaurant takes, some loss the credit card company takes, some loss the bank takes, and some loss you take by if you don't pay on time. That's the summary of how this whole system works. All right. So I'll move on to the rest of the session, and then we can address these questions. If I don't manage to answer all of them, please send me an email. I will email the answers to you. At the end of the session, I will type down my email address in the chat box. Okay. So, so we were at terms and conditions. Everybody is convinced. How many people are not convinced that they should read the terms and conditions properly? You're not convinced. See, that's
No,
one way of.
those hands were up
If
because
we
of
don't
the
Yeah,
questions
I know.
earlier.
terms and
I know.
conditions properly, we might not look at important point and we will gain losses.
Right. I think I heard that right, that we'll make losses if we don't read the conditions properly. Yep, you are right. If that is one takeaway that you take home from this session today, I'll be very happy. All right. So then, just to balance out what we have understood about credit cards, why do people use credit cards? Okay, where is that? Why do people use credit cards? Because it is convenient. You can just pay it and, it's just a card. You just have to carry this. You don't have to carry anything more. For the reward points and the benefits. It builds credit score. If you're paying back on time, it builds your credit score, and that will help you get bigger loans later on in life. That's why you want it. It is very, very handy in emergencies. So suppose suddenly there is something that you have to pay for, God forbid, but suppose somebody meets with an accident and you have to take them to the hospital, and the hospital says, you have to give me a deposit, otherwise I'm not taking you in. This doesn't work in UAE, I think, because UAE, the hospitals are, but in some countries, you have to put in a deposit in an emergency. At that time, you can use your credit card and then you say, okay, I'll settle the bill later. But right now I need to take care of this emergency that I'm facing. And then I had spoken about purchase protection. So what happens is, most credit card companies, if you have paid somebody and they do not send you, suppose you bought something online and they did not send you that item that they were supposed to send it to, they've already taken the money, but they have not sent it to you, then you can complain to the credit card company. And usually the credit card company, most of them in most countries, they say, okay, we cancel this charge and we will deal with that person, or they take it as their loss. This is one of the features that they offer. So that there is that protection as compared to debit cards, especially for online payments and things like that. But make sure you're still paying only, you're making a purchase of only the amount that you have right now. Okay. So that you have to be very sure of, that you'll be able to pay that amount at the end. Just because there are all these benefits to it doesn't mean that you keep charging the card and then you don't have money to pay. Don't fall into that trap. Okay. On the other side, we don't take them because there are fees, the interest rate is high, and there is this thing called credit limit. Credit limit is, if the total expenses in your month go above the credit limit, let's say it is 10,000 dirhams, then if you charge it even for 1 dirham more, the transaction will get denied. It will get declined. Okay. They will say your credit limit is reached and therefore you cannot make this payment. And of course, the disadvantage is that if you don't pay on time, then your credit score gets affected. And of course, your interest rate again, you'll have to pay a lot of interest, right? Then there is a tendency that if you do not pay attention, it is possible that you might overspend, because till you reach that limit, right? So your limit might be 10,000, your credit limit might be 10,000. You might have bank balance of 2,000, which you can use to pay the credit card company when the payment is due. But you can still pay 3,000 by credit card because your credit limit is 10,000. But you have only 2,000 to pay back. So it is easier to overspend what you don't have or what you had not planned for when you use a credit card. You know how this is? I like this. The bank balance is small and you're looking at that video game that you want to buy. And that's not a very good thing when you have a credit card handy. So that's why if you have that tendency, you should try to not use the credit card. Now, let's talk about we have covered all these points. Let's talk about a little bit about the newer methods. You might have heard of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, NFT, and I'm sure a year later something new will come up. So these are all ways in which you put in some money, that money gets converted to that thing, and that thing you can buy other things with that thing. So I I convert my actual cash or debit card or bank balance into a Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin I can use to buy or sell things, and then those things I get, right? So it's ultimately that. I don't see it going beyond that anytime soon, but whatever new comes out, it will have to follow this methodology, where you put in money and you use whatever it is converted to buy something else. Okay, I think that's in a very, very simple way. That's what it is. And with that, we are done with my what I had for you today. I will type in my email address, but meanwhile, if we have time, Siddharth, we can take a few questions.
So a couple of participants had to leave because they had other things, but we can do 10 minutes of questions
Sure.
if you're okay with it.
Sure.
Yeah. So there was one question that had come in the chat, which I want to make sure we get to, which was what will happen if we take money from the bank and don't pay back the loan? And when they ask for the house papers, we don't give them the house papers. What happens if they take all the money from our bank account?
You tell me logically what will happen.
Dhiman, would you like to?
Who asked this question?
This was Dhiman.
Dhiman, yeah. Dhiman. You tell me what will the bank do? Suppose you are the bank. What would you do?
If I was a bank, I would take away all the money from the person's bank account because he's not paying back the loans.
But what if they say, no, I will not give you the password to my bank account? Then you'll complain to the government, you'll complain to the police, then police will come to your house. No, my house, because I took the loan.
If I were the bank account, I would put him in the court.
No, ma'am, I've got an idea. I would terminate the bank papers showing that he's illegally using our bank.
I didn't understand. Sorry, say that again.
I would terminate the bank papers he signed. I would terminate it, showing that he's illegally using the bank.
Oh, you would just, but the money is with him, no? So how can you terminate anything? So you are the bank and you have given somebody money and that person is saying, I am not giving your money back. Do you what you want? So you are saying you will terminate the papers, but he has already got your money, no? So what will terminating, even if you tear those papers up, your money is with him.
So he showed that he illegally got the money. Does he then doesn't have
and show them that illegally? Oh my God. Okay, we are at another level only over here. So you are saying that if you tear the papers
terminate the papers, we show it to the government, showing that he got this money from us illegally. He doesn't have any papers on it.
And what will the government say? The government will say, why did you give him money without any papers? Are you stupid? If you didn't have any papers, why did you give him money? Hai na?
Then
sorry, I slip into Hindi. Yeah.
So if you had the papers, then you could legally pursue the person. But if you tear up the papers, then you have no legal recourse.
You can't even complain to the government.
Yeah.
That
I would sue the person.
Correct, but for that you need the papers. Now, if you tear them up, then how can you sue the person? Right?
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah. Genelia had a question of what happens if you don't pay the loan and you leave the country?
Then what's the dialogue from the movie Dawn? So I don't know how many of you watch Hindi movies here. Then the police from 11 countries will be looking for you. Then police from all the countries will be looking for you because the bank will complain to the government. The government will say, okay, whichever country has this person giving back.
Actually, I got something very related to this. What happens? You have to pay tax to the government, but you avoid and go moving to another country.
Yeah, that is a different topic. Tax is a different topic. Right now we're talking about loans, right?
Yeah. Nikal jate.
More questions? And by the way, we are going off topic. We're talking only about payment methods. We're going into all this only loan. But okay, I am converting in my head. I'm converting it into credit card loan. Okay. Yeah.
So just before we do a few more questions, I wanted to remind you all that if you enjoyed what was happening today, then Meeta ma'am has a course 4-week course where she's discussing this in much more depth. Yeah, 5 weeks, 5 weeks of sessions with her and 4 weeks of work that you have to do. Now, this course is not like you sit back and you listen to lecture and you feel happy. The goal of the way we've structured this course is we want you to learn how to learn about this, right? So the sessions that would happen every Saturday with Meeta ma'am would give you an introduction to what you're going to learn next week, but then you need to do assignments and learn the material next week. Come back and ask her questions the next Saturday of the things that you weren't able to understand. And then we repeat that again. Okay, so the goal of this, it will go much more in depth. Today's session was sort of teaching a small part of it, and I think Meeta will be able to give a better.
It will be wide and deep, so it will be cover a lot more about money, and it will go deeper into some of the things.
Ma'am, when will you find this course?
Economy.
Sorry, please ask one by one. If you raise your hand, I will come to you.
The course teach about economy.
Will it teach
about the economy? No. This is about personal money. The course is about personal money. Economy is about everybody's money together. We have another course for that? No?
The economy course actually just finished.
Finished, okay. Okay, yeah.
But I'm sure there'll be a next time for the economy course, so we can have that later. And maybe what we'll do is there are 4 raised hands. Let's go, each of you ask your question, and then once and for all, we'll answer them all, if that's better. So, Manvik, your question?
Yes, sir. So I have 2 doubts actually. One, when when you use credit cards, there are many benefits or points that we get for spending. So when we spend suppose 10,000 rupees, and we get suppose 100 points. So will those points will be converted into money? So if they are converted into money, then will they be in a wallet or will they go to our bank account?
Certainly not go to your bank account. It will not go to your bank account, that is for sure. What will happen is it gets stored in your credit card as a number. Okay, so suppose you have spent 10,000 rupees and you get 100 points, that those 100 points get converted to 3 rupees or something like that. Okay, so money to rupees, money to points to money again. 10,000 to 100 to 3. Usually that is how it works. These 3
So like
is just
you're saving money, right?
One second, let me finish. Okay, so these 3 points, these 3 rupees that you have, it is stored as a number of points on your credit card. And in fact, in your credit card statement, you can see how many points you have left. And then when you use them, when you say, suppose over here, there's a store called Shopper Stop. When I go to Shopper Stop and I say, I want to use my credit card points, what they do is they check how many points I have. They convert that to rupees, and then from whatever I have bought, they reduce those number of rupees and I have to pay the rest of the bill. So that's how it works.
So instead of buying stuff with the points that we have, can we use it to pay back the credit card bills?
Most credit card companies don't allow that. They are smart, no, that way. Most credit card companies don't allow that. I think 1 or 2 somewhere in the world do allow it, but they do not allow that. They do not allow that. They specifically say that, and that is why it's very important to read the terms and conditions.
And
So,
you had one more question, Manvik?
Oh, sorry, yes, Manvik.
So, like when we take loans from the bank, we have all interest and we pay back the amount with interest. So, the bank takes the money that other people have deposited in and they use that to give loans. So, if suppose the bank does not have enough money, or maybe there has been a bank robbery or something, then how will the bank give us money?
So that is why it is a very, what we call a regulated industry. Banking is a very regulated industry. What does that mean? The country's government has a central bank. Okay. And that central bank tells these banks, the various banks in the country, you cannot give loans. Suppose you have 10,000, a huge number, right? 10,000 I'm using just as because it's a smaller number, 10,000 rupees or dirhams you have with you. You cannot give loans more than 8,000 at a time. That is you're breaking a law, and I will take away your banking license if you give 8,001 rupees also as a loan. So that is one way of them safeguarding it. Okay. And usually the government backs these banks. So when they are in trouble, you will hear that the central government or the central bank came to the aid of this and this bank when they had, because people don't pay back their loans on time, so how will they have money to give it, right? So then the central bank says, okay, on behalf of those people, we will pay back their loan, and we will see how to recover the loan from them. So that's a larger economy question, but that's how largely, see, all these things, let me repeat again, I am simplifying it a lot. Okay, it's a lot more complicated than this, but this is generally how the system works. Okay.
Okay, so if I deposited 10,000 in the bank and after I deposited, there's a bank robbery and the bank does not have money, so I want my money back. So in that case, the central bank will give the bank money for some time.
Yeah.
Till
Sometimes,
they recover the
yes,
money.
yes. And banks get insurance also. So insurance is another topic. So banks as a company, they take insurance, and the insurance company gives the money to the bank against robbery and things like that. The insurance company gives the bank the money to honor its liabilities or honor its payments. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Yeah. Then Hamda, would you like to go next?
Yes. So I have something related to Janelia's question. Ma'am, so what happens if you either forget to pay the loan or can't pay the loan if you don't have the money, and then because of that you have to go into hiding? So then what happens if they can't find you? What will they do?
What will they do? If you go into hiding, they can't do anything. Especially if you're
Ma'am,
good at hiding.
at that
Especially,
point, I'm pretty sure you just become a criminal, right?
yeah, you will be labeled as a criminal, and there will be, of course, everybody will be looking for you and all that. Like you're pretty much a thief then, no? If you have taken money and gone.
Then do they cancel the account or anything?
Yeah, they will freeze your account. You won't be able to use any money if it is there in the account. And of course, you wouldn't, if you are in hiding, you wouldn't use that account at all, right? So it really depends on how well you can hide.
Ma'am, I actually have a doubt. What
But
happens? Can you play your credit card piece with another credit card to points? So you have two credit cards from two different companies. One of them are giving you points, and
yes,
you're using that points to pay the other credit card company's fees.
credit card points you might not be able to use, but you might be able to use one credit card to pay another credit card bill. And now that is getting more and more disallowed in the terms and conditions. They tell you that you cannot use one credit card to pay off another credit card bill. And it's very, very bad practice to do that, because you're just increasing the loan amount that you have to pay, right? So it's not a good idea to do that at all. That means you're living outside your means, and we're going to talk about that at length in the fuller course. That when you do that, it's you fall into what you're saying, that you use one credit card to pay another credit card bill. It's called a debt trap. DEBT, debt trap, that you are falling into a cycle which is very difficult to get out of. Yeah.
We have 2 more minutes left.
Yes.
And I know there are more questions.
Yeah.
But
I think Rohan has been waiting for a bit. We'll take Rohan's.
Thank you, ma'am. So, my question is pretty short. It's just that, so banks are evolving over the years, and we have seen that you can do online payments and all that. So, if all bank payments get online, won't it be, quite unsafe because people can hack?
So yes, people can hack, and that does happen. But there is a lot of, they are also hiring people to keep your money safe, right? Otherwise, they will not be, you will not keep your money with them and they won't have business. So that is a problem, but there are a lot of safeguards, and then you have the insurance company backing up. This is what you're saying is an online theft compared to a robber robbing, right? So the same things apply, that there is insurance, there is the central bank backing up the banks and things like that. Yeah.
Great.
Arahan, should we take
Finally,
Arahan?
Arahan. Yeah, we can briefly, Arahan, could you ask your question?
Ma'am, what will happen if you die before you pay your loan or any debt you have?
If you die before you pay your loan, then your family has to pay for it. All
Depending
your
on the terms
loans.
and conditions.
Mostly it is family has to pay for it. There is no getting out of that. So usually what they do is they'll first they'll get a claim on whatever you own. So they will sell your car, they will sell your house to get their loan back, and then your family has to pay for it. So usually I don't think there is any getting out of that. If it is a company, that's a different question. But if it's an individual, it falls back on the family. And if the family, if you don't have any immediate family, then it is treated as a bad loan and then they have to give it away. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Sure.
For example, if a company takes the loan from a bank, like a company, okay, the company goes bankrupt before it does the loan, then they don't know who they should take the money from to pay the interest rate. What will the bank do? Because they don't know who are the company workers. The owner might have, what do you say? The owner, they might not know the owner. He might have put some false name or something. What would they do?
So the same thing as the individual, right? A company is treated as a unit, and that company's assets will be sold, the building that they own, the computers.
Yeah, ma'am, but the thing is, they've gone bankrupt. So
if they have gone bankrupt, then the money is lost. Then they have to declare it. But it's not easy to do that. It's not just. It's not just that
have that loan to pay, right? They don't know who to take it from.
Sorry. Say that.
Just in terms of time, I was just going to ask Lokaditya, I'm sure that this is a very interesting topic, but I'm sure you're of quite a few years away from it being relevant.
That is true.
So just in the interest of time, because this was supposed to be 6 to 7, and we've
it's gone to 7:30.
Happily gone on to 7:30. So thank you all for your lots of interest. I will email you later tonight with details of how you can learn more from Meeta ma'am. And Meeta, if you're comfortable sharing the presentation, I can also share the link with all of them if that's comfortable for you. Or...
The link to this video or the presentation itself?
Oh, good. Yeah, the video is there. So then you don't need presentation separate. Yeah. So by tomorrow, the video
will send the presentation in chat. I want to go review through it.
All right. I can do that too. Not a problem. Sure. I just give me until tomorrow because I have some notes. I want to delete those notes before I can share.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
Where can we see the video?
It will be on our YouTube channel. You'll get an email about it. So everyone who's attended the session and everyone who signed up for the session will get an email.
If it's going to be on your YouTube channel, what's the point of paying all the fees for these classes?
No, so this is a free masterclass, right?
Okay.
And only our free masterclasses are up on the YouTube channel.
Only the free
classes themselves are not up on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And even if they are up, they will be given only to people who pay. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for the very lively discussion. And let's all thank Meeta ma'am for taking so much time and teaching us so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Lovely interacting with you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.